What follows is a video on how to make firewood that works very well in a wood-fired oven. This is just how I do this. Use the general concept of a charcoal retort here and tweak it to your own likes. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks. Alright, I'll show you how quick I can get a fire going with this, which is wood and paper, really. It's 63 degrees Fahrenheit, and this oven only 16, which I'm not trying to sell anything, but if you can afford it, this is a really good pizza oven. Alright, try and do all this one-handed. There's my wood. With this oven, it's nice. You load it in the back and light it, and it's got a vent to let air in. So, works pretty good. So I'm just going to use piece paper. No lighter fluids, nothing like that. Alright, let's see how quick I can get this oven up to speed. This wood is very dry and it burns really quick, which is good. I'm trying to get some food cooked on it. Let's see, you get pieces of all sizes. Well, you know how to build a fire. I don't have to tell you that. I have done this just lighting it with a cigarette lighter. No paper, nothing. This stuff will light with just a cigarette lighter. Usually it goes better than this, but oh well. I'm not gonna deceive you. It is what it is. Looks like we're in business. It usually starts a lot easier. A lot easier, but that's a nice oven. I'll do a review on this at some point. I've had a couple. I would not recommend the Crew 32. It gets really hot. It makes great pizza, but the thermometer on it burned out after 1 week, and the wooden handles burned off after about 1 month. And that shouldn't be happening. This thing, I've used it quite a bit, and they actually built it good enough so it's not going to do that. I haven't had any heat damage on this yet. I've gotten this thing pretty hot. I mean, they can build aircraft that can come back into orbit without burning up. They should be able to build a pizza oven, right? That's not going to burn up when you use it for what it's meant to be used for. Yeah, this one makes pretty good pizza. A little pricey. They all are pretty pricey. I thought about you could make these with if you had like a 55-gallon drum or something. I mean, really, ideally, I would like to have a pizza oven, bread oven made out of stone and earthen, you know, whatever, terracotta. Build it myself. But I'm planning to move from here, this property, so I'm not going to build anything permanent on it at this time. Yeah, just a lighter and a piece of paper. And this wood is going. Now, if I used wood that, a lot of wood, you know, split up like that would not light this quick. And, yeah. Well, I'll just tell you that I can get this thing up to temperature, we'll say 800 degrees to 1,000. For pizza, I could probably have it up to temperature in 10 or 15 minutes from now. I'm not going to throw any more wood on here, but you can see how well it burns. And I just started that with a cigarette lighter and a piece of paper. What are we up to? Oh, 120 and climbing. 24, 25, 7, 28, 29. So, yeah, I could throw more wood in there and get this thing really going. All right, I use these really rather small metal buckets that come with lids. They get me through just fine for my needs. You can get these at any home improvement or farm and garden center. I got this at Walmart for like $20. You could do this with a much larger can as well, or, you know, use your imagination. It depends upon your needs and how big your fire pit is. I've got two of them. One I've used for a year and it's held up just fine. Burn the heck out of it and it still works. They don't just burn out, I can tell you that much. And I bought this new one just to make this video. Now, I'm going to drill holes in this with a drill, a 3/8 inch drill. But you could probably shoot holes in it with a rifle or a .22, and it would work just as well. I will say be very careful for metal burrs where you make the holes. They can cut you pretty bad. I found out the hard way. So here's a little video of me drilling holes in this new bucket. I put in 6 around the bottom, and the one from last year has 12. I think I would put in 8 to 10 around the bottom. 6 didn't seem to be quite enough. And put 2 in up top. This is really easy to set up, really easy to do. And you'll get the best wood for your pizza oven doing this. You'll see. All right, so I'm gonna drill some holes. The metal's really thin. I mean, use your imagination how to knock a few holes in there. Metal bit instead of this. Just put the hole somewhere near the bottom. But it'll work. Looking back, I could have just taken a screwdriver and a hammer and punched holes in this. Would have worked just as well, I'm sure. Right on the line. All right, I'm going to drill some holes in this. Last year, I put 2 on the top, and I put 12 all the way around. do fewer this year. I've already drilled one hole in here. I'm just going to go with one hole. Now, right? Things are really thin. I mean, this is punching right through. But I can tell you, I used this can a lot last year, and other than looking rusty and burned up, it really is in pretty solid shape still. So you get some use out of it. All right, so. All right, this is just going for the wood cooker, not in that. It's going in my pizza oven. So I want small pieces. And this cherry wood splits up real nice. You don't want to use the bark for flavor. It'll make it very bitter, so I usually take the bark off. Cherry wood. This is cherry wood because 2 cherry trees, that would be wild cherry or black cherry, fell in my area a couple of years ago, and I've been cutting those up for 2 years now. Experiment with the size on these. Depends upon your oven and your own needs. I'm just giving you the basic idea how to get this done, so you have some really first-rate firewood for your pizza oven. Or bread oven. I bake bread in mine, and it can be done. Maybe I'll make a video about that. I'm not talking flatbread. I mean like Italian bread, French bread. The concept behind this is the same as a charcoal retort, though we're not trying to get charcoal out of this, but pizza oven wood, and you will. All right. The whole concept here is with the bucket and the lid and the holes is you are heating this wood up to the point where normally if there wasn't a lid on it, the wood would burn. You'd have a bucket full of ashes. But you've got a lid on it and you only got a few holes to control how much, oxygen can get in while it's on the fire. So the wood won't burn up and it won't turn to ashes or even charcoal, hopefully. I've never had it turn to charcoal. But that's the whole idea. I used to make my own lump charcoal. It's where I got the idea for this. And you just heating the stuff up wicked hot in the fire, but there's not enough oxygen inside that because it's, for the most part, closed. You got a few holes in it to let oxygen in and out, but it's controlled, so the wood won't catch fire. It just really dries out real good in this. So it works pretty good. Now, you might want to sometimes, if you pull it out of the fire and it's smoking a lot, you don't want to wind up with a bucket full of ashes. Sometimes you might want to cover up the holes that you drilled into it with a little bit of dirt, and that will put everything out within a matter of minutes inside, saving your pizza oven wood. So I've plugged up, here's a video on how I do that. Dirt, all the holes around the bottom here, and I'll put a little on top here. It ain't gonna hurt anything. Now, I guarantee you, if there's any smoldering or char or fire, there's no fire, but it'll make sure everything's out. So, something to do, plug up all the holes. I've gone quite a few times without doing this step and been fine, but a couple times I wound up with a pail full of some usable wood and a lot of charred ash. So, taking these out, and you see a lot of smoke coming through here. So I want to make sure, this is important. Now my friend's dog dug this little hole here, and it works out pretty well for this, because all you want to do is plug these holes up. Just push some dirt around it. Put some on top. In this case I only have the one. Push the dirt around. All the way around. Watch out, that can is hot. Alright, so that's it. And it's hot enough in there, it'll push whatever oxygen's in there, I'm sure, out pretty quick. I've done this before. Pretty much put out any ongoing smoldering fire in there. I mean, it's not airtight, but it's enough. All right, so that's kind of an important step. Yeah. I don't always have to cover up the holes on these. Usually I don't, but if you see smoke coming out of it a lot, just cover the holes up, it'll put it out. And that's what you got. This stuff works really good. It much better than just, if I hadn't done this, it, you know, nothing more frustrating than trying to start a fire to cook your dinner and you can't get the fire going. It's just not behaving. This stuff burns very well, very well. It's completely dried out, but it works very well. Now, a word of caution, make sure that this is completely out before you put it in your garage or your barn. Just a little safety note there. Generally, you know, I don't even have to cover up the holes to make sure it's out, but it doesn't hurt to do that. Play around with it, figure it out. You know, be careful when you punch holes in these buckets, metal cans. It can leave some pretty sharp burrs on it also that you can get a pretty bad cut from. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any ideas, I'm just passing this on. It works very good for me. Very, very well. Thank you. All right, here's a little bonus. I found the trick to baking a nice large loaf of bread like this, Italian bread, in a pizza oven. I get the oven really hot, like 900 degrees, before I put the bread in. Let it cool down slowly to 400 degrees. Then bake my bread, turning it frequently. And just practice at it, you'll get it. You can bake really good bread in these ovens. Takes practice.
Doesn't that look so good?